Hi, my name is Dan Banister Jr. I'm born in Charlotte, North Carolina and raised in Chesapeake, Virginia. I started sports really young. My father was very adamant of making sure that we spent time outside and not inside. I was one of those kids, you know, you stay outside and you stay outside until the street lights come on, then you come back in the house. My favorite sport growing up was actually track. I loved to run. Like I said, I grew up staying outside. A lot of my family is in North Carolina, so I grew up in the dirt, rolling around in the dirt. You know, just everything was outside. Very few video games when I was growing up, so I loved to run. So the first thing I did was run. They put me on the track to run. Growing up, I had a couple favorite athletes, but I think my one over everybody would be Usain Bolt. I guess you can say track is my first love. That's the first sport I really got into. I didn't go far with it once I started getting to other things, but track would be my first love. Like I said, Usain Bolt, I used to watch him all the time. I had shirts, I wore the jewelry like him. I did everything that he did, I ended up doing. I started out with track. I played baseball, I played football. I started a little bit with soccer. It wasn't my sport, I couldn't do it. It was too much running. I know, like I said, I like to run, but that's a different type of running. And then I played volleyball in high school, went back to track. I believe that's all of them. Basketball actually didn't come into the picture until my 8th grade year. So before that, like I said, I played every sport you can think of but basketball. I actually did not like basketball, if I'm being honest. I just had no interest in it. Like I said, I was playing football. Yeah, I played football, I played baseball. And that was all I did. And then one year, they were like, I had a growth spurt. And that's like, you know, you should try basketball. I'm like, bro, I don't want to do basketball. Like, that's not what I want to do. And I came out and I wasn't really coordinated. Like I said, I had a growth spurt, so I'm real linky. You know, I wasn't coordinated. And I started hitting a couple of shots and people were cheering. I'm like, okay, yeah, you da. I'm like, maybe I like this a little bit, you know, I could do this. So my 8th grade year, I actually reclassified, so that wouldn't be as far behind as far as athletics. So I did my 8th grade year twice, and that's when my basketball career actually started. Once I started and, you know, started getting serious about it, my dad sat me down. He was like, okay, look, he was like, are you serious about basketball? And I was like, yeah, like I actually, you know, I would want to go to college to play basketball. And he was like, okay. He was like, well, if that's what you want to do, he was like, I'm gonna hold you to it. So once that second 8th grade year started, every other sport was cut out. I didn't play baseball, I didn't play football, didn't run track or anything. It was basketball from that second 8th grade year all the way through until my senior year, which is when I started to play other sports. I started running track around elementary, middle school. Ran with a AAU team called Track 757. I was running. The reason I remember I was running, I had a broken thumb. I broke my thumb in PE in middle school. I will never forget. So I broke my thumb playing dodgeball. I don't remember how the whole story was, but yeah, I remember I broke my thumb. So I'm running with a cast. They would big old cast running. Yeah, and that was the time. When I was younger, they had me running the 200. I know I ran the 200, ran the 400. I believe I did the 4x1. I didn't do any jumping, no long distance. I was not a long distance runner, but I know that I did a lot of sprints. This first year that I ran track, all I did was jump. So that's what I initially came into. I was like, you know, I told the track coaches, I was like, yeah, I jumped in high school and I also sprinted. They were like, okay, well, let's see if you can jump. So I went out there and they're okay, we got something to work with right here. You know, I didn't actually have a jump coach my senior year. So my track coach was actually a cross-country coach. And so everything that I had learned was almost self-taught. I knew some things, but it was just like, okay, I just know I'm an athlete. I know I run, jump. But once I got here, they were like, okay, you don't have the foundation, but if you get that foundation, you know, you can do something. Before anything, I'm a student athlete. Of course, you know, student first, then athlete second. So not having that mental break that I would after basketball season, once it ends in March, having that break to be able to finish out the school year, not having that going straight into track. That was a little difficult last year, not being able to just sit back and just woosah. That was a little difficult, a new experience for me, but I was able to handle it. And another thing would be, of course, the physical part. It wasn't as tolling on my body as I thought it would be, but of course, my body was tired. Once I was done with the both of them, I was like, okay, I'm about to just sit back for, a week or two and just relax and, let my body recover. So I actually did not take recovery serious until this past year. So my sophomore year, during COVID, we still played during COVID. This is when we were in the Big South. I tore my VMO, that's my quad, or part of my quad, tore in half in a game. Ended my season short, and it took me, I was in a straight leg brace for 4.5 months. Wasn't able to bend my leg until after 6 months. And that put me back at least 1.5 years. I wasn't able to play. Last year was my first year playing. Both my parents, they were gone. My sister, I believe she was still doing something. So when they would leave, I was downstairs in the living room for hours out of the day. I'm just sitting there. I can't move. I can't, I can barely get up on the crutches. So I'm sitting there with the dogs, but I'm sitting there and I'm reflecting. I'm watching the season go on, and so I'm sitting there. I'm watching my team play. I'm watching them fight because we had another guy that had injury, so it was really a detrimental season. Like once those two players, he and I went down, it really put a hurt on our team. But I'm sitting there, I'm watching that. I didn't even want to watch basketball. I couldn't watch basketball. I couldn't watch pro, college, women's, and overseas, anything. I couldn't watch basketball. It bothered me to watch basketball knowing that I couldn't play and I might not be able to play again. Like that was really what was going through my mind. And I wrestled with that for a long time, sitting there not knowing whether or not I was ever going to be able to be an athlete again, because that's all I had done since I was a kid. No matter what sport, I was an athlete. And when I started to be able to bend my leg, I started to be able to work out again. It took a while to be able to I didn't get back to being me as an athlete until this year. So, that's 2020, it's 2023 now. It took me pretty much 3 years getting past the mental part, trying to be an athlete. I have videos of me working out, I'm running, I'm limping, like just because of the mental part. The physical wasn't as bad as the mental. The mental is what took the longest time for me, is trying to overcome the mental. And like once I got back from that, I was like, okay, I got my body's now. I'm not 18 years old anymore. I can't just hop on the court and just play. I gotta take care of my body. I gotta make sure, once I finish, I'm putting the right nutrients in my body. I'm going to the training room, getting the treatment that I need. Address something when it starts to feel weird, not wait until it gets too bad to where I just can't take it. So recovery became a big part of my daily life. I feel like this is probably one of the best physical states that I've been in a long time. And then mentally, I feel like overcoming, having that injury, overcoming different things throughout these past, 4 or 5 years, I'm at the strongest mental state that I feel like I've been at. And then on top of that, I think I'm at the strongest spiritual state as well. So, those three things, I feel like when I put those three together, there's nothing that can stand in front of me that I'm not going to be able to get past or be able to conquer. My goals is to help my team make a name for Hampton in the CAA this year. I feel like we have something special this year. I really do. I feel like we can do something special. And I'm looking forward to it. This is going to be an exciting year. And then on the track, I want to be able to actually compete with these high major schools that we go to. I want to go and not just be, kind of trying to get my practice in. I want to actually be going and they're looking at me like, okay, this is the guy I got to beat, or this is who I'm competing with. I don't want to just be out there just to be out there. I want to actually be a competitor this year. I mean, I like video games. I like Call of Duty. I like Fortnite. I like Assassin's Creed. I like those things. I like puzzles. I don't know, that's different. I like mind puzzles, you know, different things like that. I love working with kids. Like that's one of my majors. Education. I love working with kids. I take care of kids. I'll go speak to kids. I'll go to the rec center. I play basketball with the kids. Play whatever sports. And then family. I love spending time with my family. That's probably that is number one over everything. I love spending time with my family. I love my family. Probably listen to your parents. I feel like my dad has always told me, you know, do this, do that. You know, if you do this, you'll feel better. If you do this, you'll do better. And I never really listened. But then my coach would tell me the same thing, and I'm like, man, my dad told me that 4 years ago. If I would have done that, imagine where I could be now, instead of starting now and look at where I can be later on. So one, yeah, listening to your parents. Your parents have lived your life. I mean, now I know that, but before, you know, it's like, I don't want to listen to you, but now, like, yeah, my parents lived my life basically almost the same exact thing that I'm doing. It's just in a different time. So they know a lot more than what we think. But then on top of that, taking care of your body. Like this wristband, I went to the CAA conference, a guy, forget his name, but he came and spoke to us about how important sleep is. That's the best recovery tool that we have beyond ice baths, heat, chiropractor, whatever. Like that's the best recovery tool that we have. That's the best performance enhancer that we have is sleep. So taking care of your body, putting the right nutrients in it, getting the hours that you need to sleep, and getting in tune with your body, like yoga, meditation, a couple other things, but getting in tune with your body, knowing yourself.
Y'all, it's game day. When the band is what you hearing, everybody here is cheering. All your worries disappearing, y'all, it's game day. Whether televised or streaming live in person while you're screaming, no more waiting, no more dreaming, y'all, it's game day.